When?
This is Jason Nettik, and this is my audience. Mark Twain was considered the best American authors of all time. His real name is Samuel Clemens, but he usually went by Mark Twain when he wrote books and was a reporter. He wrote famous books such as The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. The reasons why I chose to talk about Mark Twain is because he was brutally honest in his writings and his lecturing, and he lived a fascinating life. Today I'll talk about a couple of Mark Twain's careers, 2 books that he wrote, and some tragedies that happened to him. First, I'll start off with his careers. In his early ages, he was a riverboat pilot on the Mississippi River, where he grew up most of his life living around the Mississippi area. He then became a reporter when he moved out to San Francisco, and that's where he learned that he liked to write. He also, after that, he became a publisher, and that's when he started to write books. Next, I'll talk about the 2 books that Mark Twain wrote. The first one I'll talk about is The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and it was considered the first great American novel, and it is used in schools today to talk about American literature. And The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, which was similar to Twain's youth, when he used stories when he was a boy and he put them into the book, and that was an American classic and a bestseller. Last, I'll talk about a couple of tragedies in Mark Twain's life. Although he was really famous and he earned a lot of money, he went bankrupt. He went bankrupt because he spent too much money on his home and extravagant living, and he spent money on inventions that didn't work out. He made his money back by lecturing. He would go around the world and give lectures on topics, and people would come from all over to watch him speak because he was a very good speaker. Another hardship in Twain's life was all the deaths in his family. His wife died of disease. 2 of his daughters died, one of disease and one of drowning, and his brother was killed on a steamboat when it exploded. So he's dealt with a lot of tragedies in that regard, and he outlived all of his family, meaning his wife and his daughters. Today I've talked about Mark Twain's careers, jobs, books, and tragedies. I hope you guys take away that Mark Twain was very influential on American literature, and he was so because he was brutally honest and he believed in what he talked about.